Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of a serial sewist and knitter. If you're a returning watcher, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I hope you find this super niche content entertaining. It's been a little while since my last episode. A lot has gone on in the past month or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split this episode up into mini videos, so mini episodes, so that it doesn't get too long and you can just pick and choose which video you want to watch. They'll all be released at the same time, but it'll just make it easier, I think, and, you know, bite-sized, digestible chunks of content. So it'll still follow the same long format in terms of sequence. So I'll obviously talk about acquisitions, I'll talk about finished objects, I will talk about whips and anything that I've got in the works, both knitting and sewing, and I will put that into mini episodes. So, having said that, it has been a very busy month. So last month when I recorded, we had just come off the tail end of the elections here in Australia. So I was very happy, buzzing, everyone was full of hope and excitement. And I also had a few social things going on, a few personal things going on. So I might just start with a little bit of a life update. So I went to a couple of knit nights that were hosted by 3 Cats Yarns, which were absolutely lovely. And the people that I've met there have been really, really wonderful people. And I also hosted a Knit in Public day on Knit in Public Day. And the location we chose to meet up with, and there wasn't many of us, by the way, happened to go inside with the Knitters Guild meetup, which was also held in public. So our groups merged, and it was really lovely to kind of get a preview into the Knitters Guild, which I had applied for, and I've been accepted for membership. And to meet those lovely people and just to get a bit of a sense of the atmosphere. There was over 30 people that were meeting up, so that was crazy. On top of that, Ira from KukieKnits and Anaezig on Instagram and I went on a road trip up to Grumpy Ginger, and we checked out the new yarn store that's up the coast from Sydney. So that was quite a nice adventure, and we walked away with some delicious donuts. I did walk away with an acquisition, although it's not wool directly related, it's like wool adjacent. And we also have another road trip planned with Mel from 3 Cats Yarns and KukieKnits to go visit Convent and Chapel, hopefully in the next month. So that'll be really exciting as well. So it's just been really nice. It's been really nice to connect with people who are makers, who are creatives, who carve out time in their day to make things and talk about making things and buying more things to make more things. So in the middle of all that, I had some health issues which have now been resolved, which I'm really pleased about. But the reason I want to share that is because I think it's important to emphasize the importance of going and seeking help when something doesn't feel right or something's, you know, suddenly started happening. So I started to suddenly get abdominal pains, and I was really proactive about getting it checked out immediately. And after about a month of waiting and seeing to see what it was, it turned out that I needed some surgical intervention. Some bowels in my abdomen were having a bit of dance party and like twisting and untwisting on their own. So I needed to get that addressed because it is excruciating. And now I'm recovering, which is wonderful, and we're hoping that that resolves the issue. Things like that don't happen often, but when they do, if you don't get them addressed quickly, they can become quite serious. So this, I guess, is my little PSA as part of my life update to make sure that you're always checking in with yourself and you are making sure to advocate for yourself with your healthcare providers, so that if something doesn't feel right, you let them know so that it can be resolved. It's not lost on me that I have now a lot of thin privilege, so things like pain, discomfort, feeling unwell get taken, I guess, a lot more seriously by some healthcare providers, whereas people who are in larger bodies might not necessarily have that experience. I certainly didn't when I was in a larger body. So I do acknowledge that, but there are healthcare providers out there who will listen to you, and you can find tools and support around you to help you advocate for yourself. So if you're in Australia, there is the Health at Every Size network, which you can just pop into a search engine or Google, and it will spit out a list of healthcare providers that are HAES accredited. HAES accreditation means Health at Every Size. So they approach people with a holistic view, which makes sure that your size or your weight is not the dominant factor that is focused on when it comes to your healthcare. They treat you completely. So if you're complaining about pain, they will talk to you about your pain rather than try and connect it to size or weight. So that is my life update. That is my little spiel on looking after yourself. I am going to jump into acquisitions first, or as the first mini episode. So, like I mentioned, there were a lot of trips here and there, and there were a lot of acquisitions, both wool related and wool adjacent. So, firstly, I was really lucky enough to return some wool to the lovely people at Yarn Glorious Yarns. So I had purchased some wool earlier in the year in a colorway that didn't really, what it looked like online was a bit different to what I had in mind in person. It was a bit pinker, and I showed it in one of my previous episodes. It was like a cerebellum color. So they were really kind. They gave me a store credit. I returned the wool, and I purchased the latest Lane magazine, so issue 14. And I also obtained a skein of Bluestok in this beautiful hunter green. So I have some of this already. But I wasn't sure it was going to be enough for a project, like sweaters quantity essentially. So I wanted to get one more just to be safe. So I've done that. I'm really pleased with that. And other goodies that I'm very excited about. So the other acquisition, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. They are these beautiful earrings that I ordered from Dying Dream. It was a collaboration they did. Let's see if this works, guys. We'll see. Okay, come on. So this is the earring. They're really beautiful. There you go. So these beautiful earrings are handmade in Canberra. And they came with this beautiful colorway from Dying Dreams. I'm not sure if it's UV reactive. It may be. That's her specialty. I'm very excited to make some socks with this. I think I'll make the pattern that's in the summer edition of Pom Pom, the one with the vertical stripes that I Heather and Hobbs has made. So we'll see, but very, very, very pleased with this. I also stocked up on some stuff from Bien Aimee during her, or Bien Aimee, during her sale, her birthday sale. So I obtained sweaters quantity of this in the colorway Blue Royale. I want to make a Louvre sweater by KukieKnits using this. But even if I don't, it's very nice and squishy and blue, and it's like a beautiful electric blue. So I'm very excited about it. I think it'll go very nice with my skin tone. And then the Wandering Flock order that I put in, which I did say was going to be my last one for a little while because the exchange rate is killer at the moment, is this one. So this is Spring Fever. So I pretty much got enough for sweaters quantity in the Mohair as well as the fingering weight, and they are absolutely, absolutely beautiful. I think I got more than sweaters quantity because I was thinking about whether or not I might make like a big shawl with it, but I'm not sure yet, and that's okay. It'll be something really special. Lastly, in terms of fibre, and you would have seen this on my reels on my Instagram, was the beautiful unspun in Storm Cloud from Wool & Twine. And it smells sheepy and it's soft and airy, and I have more than just this one, and I have more coming because she had a birthday sale as well, so I stocked up, and I'm very excited to see how this works out. It is really nice next to skin. I'm actually really surprised because everyone talks about unspun being a bit scratchy, but I guess that depends if it's Plotalopi or Letalopi, but this is very nice. So this is the colorway Storm Cloud, and I also have the colorway Breeze, which is like a lighter gray that's also going to come. So that is it in terms of, no, I lie, that's not it in terms of fibre. And I caught up with one of my other friends, and we met up at Skein Sisters a few weeks ago now, just to check it out. It's a beautiful store in the inner west, and it's got so much wool, like so much wool, and just different types of yarn as well, and books, and they run workshops. So it's a really nice space. So I stocked up on Katia Concept Mohair. This was actually at a really good price point, so I purchased quite a bit based on meterage. I think I got around 7 of these each, and they're around 200 meters. So in black and in this really nice, like a neutral pink, almost like a nudie pink. I have wool that I can pair it with or not. We'll see. It will be paired with it. So that's it for yarn acquisitions so far. I also then purchased a project bag from the Bien Aimee because their project bags were on sale. Got a tote bag, a pin, like a really pretty pin that's on one of my other project bags, and barber cords, which were, I'll show you in a nice color. I got three of them, and violet, fuchsia, and white. So these you're meant to be able to put on the end of your needles to try on your items without having to slip them on and off the needles, which is great because when I get into my works in progress / finished objects, you will see why. But until then, so that is my yarny acquisitions so far. I did also get, and I don't have it here. Wait, maybe I do. Wait. Hold that thought. Yes, I do. I do have them here. I did also order some stuff from 1121 Mills. Lisa hand makes some really beautiful notions, and she also has bats that she custom color combs, I think the phrase is. I'm just checking my timer. And so I got some beautiful stitch markers from Lisa's store. I did also get some earrings. They're similar to the ones that Ira showed on her last episode, but they're white. So they're like skeins that are like studs. They're very pretty. And these ones because I love plants. So all items are handmade with care by me in Newcastle on the east coast of Australia. It is a smoke and pet-free environment. Thanks for shopping with me. They're very thoughtfully crafted. So everything is done by hand. It's painted by hand. I'm pretty sure that the engraving on the wood is also done by hand, because I've seen some of her reels where she's using really tiny tools and a massive magnifying lens to be able to get that detail in there. Very beautiful. So that was my notion acquisition from her. Now, I'm looking in front of me because I have a lot of books. I went like pattern book crazy. So the first one is the Pom-Pom Ready Set Raglan. I'd been eyeing this for a little while, and I tend to try and go into the shops first and just thumb through it just to have a bit of a look to see if it's worth acquiring. This looks really good. It's got some really good tips, some nice patterns, and I'm very excited because I'm very much into the raglan knitting, like top-down raglans, and just in general I find them a really pleasant garment. They come together quite well and seamlessly in terms of effort. So I was very pleased with that. I haven't made any of the patterns from it yet, but I know a few people who have, and they just love it. The other acquisition is Contrast by Line. So this is what I got when I went to Grumpy Ginger. And like, it is enormous, like enormous. It is not a small book. It has so many different texture styles in terms of cabling and stitch types, and the patterns are really, really, really beautiful and varied. Like, I'm genuinely impressed at how many things are in here to knit, and I'm really excited to get stuck into them once I've gotten through some of the stuff that I've got in the works at the moment. The other thing was the latest Pom-Pom. Well, actually, I don't think this is the latest, is it? Winter 2021. So I started to buy back issues of them. And I think the reason I got this one was because of the gingham style polyrhythm, which is on the cover, because I wanted to see if it was going to be any different to what I test watched for the Great Gingham. We shall see. Last time I spoke about really loving the Northern European styles and designs that come out, and that if you put like a complicated colorwork, like a gorgeous complicated colorwork, a sweater in front of me, or you give me something that's just one color but beautiful silhouette, that I'm going to gravitate towards that. So with that in mind, I got Sadness Gun books from Titi, who I do now consider an extension of my local yarn stores because their shipping is brilliant and affordable. So I snapped up this. I they were having a sale, so I also got this, which is a summer dress pattern book. Well, it's a summer pattern book, but it's got this beautiful dress at the front. Now, I'd never thought about making a dress, especially not for summer, but who knows, there might be one in the future. But there are some other summer garments in there. Same with this one. So it reads German and in English. I made sure. This has some crochet patterns in there as well, which is really interesting. And some of them are very pretty. And then my favorite is this. So this pattern I am obsessed with. I saw it floating around on Instagram. I think it was one of the promo shots for their yarn. And I am so eager to cast it on, but I've told myself I'm not allowed to cast it on until I finish what I've already got in the works. But just like the texture of those bubbles running down that arm, I'm obsessed. So I'm very excited about all these pattern books so that I can start to direct some of my attention away from buying all the pretty yarn and now actually planning and mapping out the patterns, especially with all the summer knits that are coming out because the Northern Hemisphere has a summer going on at the moment. Speaking of which, Amirisu Summer Edition. I'm keen to start expanding my knitting portfolio to summer stuff too. So in terms of stuff, I think this is it. It's a lot. I forgot something. So I have some shorties that are wooden shorties in my stash, which are great. They're knit picks, they're reliable. I got nothing against them, but they're wood and I do like metal. Wood serves its purpose when it comes to things like a fuzzy yarn and you need it to not slide off your needle. So I invested in Thiago shorties. So this is the small, and this is shorties. What that essentially means, I think, is that these are from US 0 to size 3, and these are from US 4 to size 8. So you don't get shorties in size 10s, which is a bit of a bummer. But the Knit Picks wood ones do come up into a size 10. That's the biggest size. So they are handy. So I believe that is it for now. Yes, that is it. That is it for acquisitions. There were a lot of acquisitions. There was a lot of spending. There was even more spending this week, but I'm going to save that for the next episode because otherwise I'm just going to run out of content. So thank you for sticking with me this far to talk about acquisitions. There was a lot. If you want to hear what I am going to do with some of these or anything that I might be planning out of the pattern books, I suggest you check out the mini episode where I talk about planned projects. And if you've got any questions or you'd like to know what I think of any of these pattern books or you're thinking about buying them yourselves, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or comment below. I'm always happy to have a conversation about whether or not I vouch for something or if I've gone through it. So, thanks for watching my little spiel about acquisitions or show and tell. And I will catch you in the next mini episode where I'm going to talk about my finished objects and my planned whips. Thanks.